Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on Season 1 of Rick and Morty. Now, as you know, Rick and Morty was meant to be a sort of adult animated science fiction sitcom that was created by Justin Roiland and Dan Herman. And keep in mind that, since I usually do a thing where I review each season and give my thoughts on, I decided to kind of give Rick and Morty a go. And the first season of Rick and Morty had 11 episodes that started from December the 2nd, 2013 to April the 14th, 2014. And we all know the point of the first season of Rick and Morty. It's meant to follow, basically, Rick and his grandson Morty going on misadventures, other dimensions, and dealing with other dangers. And we kind of see how Rick and Morty kind of end up almost unintentionally putting themselves in danger, getting into shenanigans or serious problems. And throughout the first season, you do have Jerry, who's basically Morty's father and Rick's son-in-law. And I think Jerry's character works at places where he does try to be the voice of reason and does voice a bit of disconcern. Beth, who is basically Rick's daughter, does try to stand up for Rick, and you can tell does have some problems with her marriage with Jerry. And you basically got Rick's granddaughter, Summer, who's just there at some point, but there are episodes where they do focus a little bit on her. And throughout each of the episodes, we kind of see how Rick, Morty, or some of the characters do get into sticky situations. Like one where we basically see Rick gives the sort of dog, Snuffles, family dog, a sort of intelligence enhanced helmet, and this kind of leads to Snuffles sort of becoming sentient. And over that course of the story, you do see how Rick tries to get Morty's teacher to sort of improve his grades by entering his dream. Or there's one known as Anatomy Park, where you do have Rick sending Morty inside the body of a homeless man in a sort of fantastic voyage and a kind of Jurassic Park story. And you do kind of have most of it dealing with alien threats, or it's gonna have some situations that's gonna kind of backfire. And I think for the most part, I think the series starts off good, but I think it's where I think it does go a little over the top with the alien plot and the other sort of alternative worlds. I think if they stuck with what the pilot was originally suggesting, that, Rick keeping basically the sort of paranormal stuff that he does and other dimensions and other worlds a secret from basically Jerry and Beth, this would have probably have added a lot more chemistry. Like Rick keeping his secret life secret and kind of having Jerry voice a bit more disapproval. And it really seemed like the pilot was going for this. And I think, when you do kind of have the whole virtual reality story, it is kind of a weak story, and it just kind of relies on the trope of being one simulation to that simulation. And I think, to me, is that if they made the Rick Potion episode basically 9, this would have kind of showed after kind of perverting the disaster, having kind of Beth suggest with Jerry that maybe Jerry's right and could send Rick to the sort of retirement home. And you could have had the two-parter be the whole kind of Rick being wrongfully accused, and even having it with other alternative Ricks, pretty much voicing disapproval of Rick's actions throughout Season 1. This could have added more chemistry, but I think at the same time, I can see where some of the stories do serve as a bit of a moral or a cautionary tale. Like, I think the message with the episode Meeks and Destroy is that I think when you do have the Meeks, the more the story is, don't overuse wishes for kind of dumb reasons. And also, yeah, when you've got the episode Rick Potion 9, there is a bit of a message about not forcing people to love you. And that, yeah, sometimes forcing people to love you is never gonna work. And I think, yeah, like I said, and I think when you got the episode where Jerry tries to prove that basically Pluto isn't a real planet, there is a bit of a message about coming to terms when you're in the wrong, even when it's there. And I think, well, yeah, it did seem like later down the episode line, they did kind of change some of the characters a little bit halfway after the pilot. Like, I think the writers were trying to base some of Justin Ryland's character and his personality a bit on Jerry. Like, trying to make himself seem self-important, claims he has done all these fantastic things when he hasn't, and tries to show off his R2-D2 coin collection, even though that's not much of an accomplishment. And you can tell that, much like Justin Roiland, you can tell Jerry tries to prove himself in the right, even though it's not there. I think to me is that, yeah, season 1 has its ups and downs, and there is a bit of foreshadowing with basically Justin's sort of actions with the whole King Jellybean story. Also, yeah, with the sort of Spanish maid from the Titanic thing, Lucy. And I think the creators were trying to warn people about Justin even way back then. I think Rick and Morty is an okay story. Like, it's gonna have the kind of typical reality trope shenanigans. It's gonna kind of have Rick and Morty going on misadventures, getting screwed over, but still having the sort of usual, universal sort of mishaps. But I think the season definitely deserves a thumbs up. It's still okay, still enjoyable, despite what the pilot, I think, was intending. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.